even a great season from Corey Kluber. But you can't go into next season saying, hey, he's going to do what he did last year. This is one that goes in the glass case, you know? And then when you get guys that put together 2 and 3 and 4 seasons that go in the glass case, all of a sudden the whole career starts to go in the glass case, and you look at it and you go, wow, that guy was special. So same thing here. You can't expect that. And now Michael Brantley, I really believe that you're looking at what Michael Brantley is turning into and just heading into the prime of his career. I do believe. And that's why I say looking ahead, looking forward. And it's a shame that Mike didn't rejoin this conversation, because I'm with him on a lot of things. Looking forward, I definitely see the core, the young core. You're not just talking about, we got 3 pieces to build around. You got some real anchor positions to build around. Yanni Gomes just really continuing. Imagine what his season is if he doesn't have that bad start, not just at the bat, but in defensively as well. And just, I'm telling you, he had to catch up to the expectations he set on himself for that contract, and for being so much dropped into his lap from a guy who, nobody knows who he is. Next thing, he's a starting catcher. He's controlling a staff. He's got money handed his way, all that stuff. And he bounced back really well. Gomes sitting at 282. He's over 20 home runs, 74 RBIs for the season. And really, he gets a lot of the credit for that staff. Terry Francona says it all the time. I mean, Gomes is out there running that pitching staff each and every game. So, those are the things that I can definitely agree with when it comes to looking at some of the missed opportunities that come out of this season. Some of the other things, too, that I wanted to bring up, I wanted to talk about this with Mike, but look at the Indians and what they've done and you know what, Dan Wismar started to bring this up a little bit. Was it yesterday, I believe? Mike Brandenburg did not bail on the conversation. He actually had an emergency. He hit me up. He said I would never bail. He had a last minute emergency as he was on hold. He had to change his plan. So just so you guys know, Mike Brandenburg is not ducking and hiding from the playoff word. He had a legitimate deal come up there. I just checked my phone and I totally understand that. He goes, I'm sorry, man. Just as you came back. I said, okay, now the timing makes a little bit more sense. But getting back to what I was talking about. And so, you know what? I've got a window to open the phones. Tribe fans, if you guys want to get in, I've got about 10 minutes to take the phones. Hit us 216-539-7535. 216-539-7535. Nah, LG, don't take shots at Mike Brandenburg. Mike Brandenburg is the man. I am having fun with him, not just today, but like for the last few weeks and off the air. You don't understand. I torment this man with Indians playoff texts and a hashtag what if just randomly throughout the day. No, trust me. I have harassed Mike Brandenburg. I've gotten every inch of real estate out of this Indians playoff run for sure. You guys, there's a difference between having some fun on the air with you guys and anything seriously being wrong. Trust me, Mike Brandenburg is the man. And yeah, no reason to look at it as anything less than what it is. But okay, going back to the conversation. And as I said, phones are open. 216-539-7535 if you guys want to get in. BJ Rudell joins us just about 15 minutes from now, so I'll open them up for just a minute. But looking at the bullpen, the Indians, Dan Wismar brought this up yesterday. They don't just have a pitcher with 70-plus appearances coming out of this bullpen. They've got a bullpen with 70-plus appearances. 4 guys are in that 70-plus range appearances for the season. That's Indians' record level right there. And you've got not just 1, but 4 guys floating around there. Not only that, but Terry Francona set the record this season. He broke his own record from last season for most visits to the pitching mound. They also set the record for most appearances out of, I believe they set it. They may be on the verge of setting it here in the next couple of games. The record for most number of appearances, period, out of a bullpen staff as a whole, which fits the Terry Francona style to a T. We joke about him wishing that he could match up from the first pitch to the last pitch. If he could run 27 pitchers out there, he may be willing to try that one day. But he being Terry Francona points to that as how much confidence he's got in his bullpen. The flip coin of that, as we talk about sometimes, is that is a lot of work to put on a bullpen, But then again, the old school part of me goes, you know what? It's not a lot of work. This is what they do. This is what you guys do. But, somehow, much like the sissification of America that we talk about in a lot of ways, it's the same thing there, too. I'm not saying that your arm doesn't get tired and you don't get wore down. But, instead of in 2014, too many people lower expectations instead of raise production, if that makes sense, in today's everybody gets a trophy society that we live in. So, but that is a lot of work. Hey, that's taxing as far as historically. No bullpen has ever been put through the work like that, And if you've got the horses to rely on them, that's great. One thing I wonder about is how that bullpen, I'm not even trying to talk next year right now, but how that bullpen bounces back next year. Because as we've seen, I mean, that's one of those fickle elements of a baseball team that can literally just change one season to the next, even if you maintain the consistency of it. I mean, a lot of these guys could just come back and have different types of seasons last year. And like I said yesterday, it's easy to high-five Terry and say, hey, man, he's a great manager when those moves work out. The nights where they don't, then everybody goes, oh, why did he do that? He was over-managing. He was trying to think too much. I like when people try to cut you with the same sword that they try to pat you on the back with sometimes, that double edge, because the same thing that makes you a genius makes you an idiot when it goes the wrong way. It's the tradition of Monday morning quarterbacks in the sports world. But, some question marks there with that. But it shows that he's, I mean, I don't think anything needs to show that he's a player's manager. I mean, we all know that. But that shows the confidence that he's got in his guys. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you bounced, if you didn't bounce, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. He'll go to you, whatever the circumstance, the situation. If you're his guy, he'll go to you and he'll trust you with the ball to get him through that inning, that batter, that one situation, whatever it is. But man, that's taxing. I'll tell you, the best thing, as long as Terry Francona is a manager for the Indians, the best thing in the winter meetings, well, besides some big free agent signings, is to hope that baseball really does eventually expand that roster. Because I think Terry Francona, you talk about building statues and throwing a parade, Terry Francona may pay for his own parade through downtown Cleveland if baseball ever expanded the pitching staffs and the rosters on these and let him take like 15 guys, 20 guys in. And come on, baseball, hook a brother up. I'm trying to match up throughout the game here. But anyways, guys, all right, I'll tell you what, tonight, I mean, really, where do you want me to go with this? Mike Brandenberry just responded to you guys on Twitter. Sorry, guys. Emergency I have to deal with. Love the ribbing, though, man, because I texted him. I'm like, hey, man, I'm just having fun with you, right? Like, I really wasn't sure if he hung up because I was playing Staying Alive. I'm like, come on, because I'm telling you guys, last night, he did everything but threaten my firstborn child. He said, don't do it. Jerry, don't call me tomorrow if you're going to say the word playoffs. I don't want to hear it. And because I told you, I've been incessantly driving him nuts with that. Hey, I texted a lot of people #WhatIf last night. I'm not even going to lie about it, man. Why not? Like I said, have fun. I mean, it's over this weekend no matter what. Well, I shouldn't say no matter what. It may be over. It may not be over. Who knows? But really, it's over. And then calf season and brown season and monster season. And then, hey, here comes spring training. And before you know it, spring training will be back upon us. But for those of you that enjoy baseball, it's a long 3-4 month process before you get back around to the start of the season. So why not? Why not enjoy it? I mean, seriously, why not have some fun with it? And if you don't want to, that's cool. I mean, if you're too good for that, you go, hey, I'm not stupid. That's cool. Nobody's asking you to be stupid. I'm just enjoying what they're giving me, man, because when it's over, it's over. And as we know, we've sat through some really unenjoyable baseball before. We've sat through some boring baseball, all of that stuff. So I'd much rather sit through this. And hey, man, it is what it is. The Indians off today, yet Indians fans not off the clock, as they will definitely be watching the games today. You've got Seattle and Toronto. What are they? They're an afternoon game today, 4:07. Where do those random times? Like, I get starting at 7:10. 7:15, 8:05. Those are like kind of rounded off with the 5. But where does 4:07 come from? Or 7:08 in Minnesota and Detroit is starting at 7:08. I'm like, really? You couldn't have just picked like 10? You couldn't have just said 7:10? 7:08 we're going to pitch this first thing off. But 4 o'clock, Seattle and Toronto. Got to keep an eye on that one. And then the biggest ones, because who cares about Seattle? All Seattle can do is the same thing the Indians can do. All they can do is win out and hope. They won't affect the Indians one way or another. If they win out and everything works out, then it's a 4-way tie. That's all that does. So what the Indians and you guys need to watch tonight, Oakland and Texas at 8:05, Kansas City and Chicago at 8:10. If either Oakland or Kansas City wins their game tonight, they'll lock up their spot in the wild card. There's 2 spots open. 4 teams are in play for it this weekend. If both teams win, it's all over but the playoffs. Everybody will be eliminated. Oakland and Kansas City will lock up those spots. If they both lose, then it's the Wild West this weekend because, like I said, if either of those teams, they have to lose out. Either one. And that's the only place that opened up the Indians' odds a little bit, is instead of it just being Kansas City, Oakland has slipped themselves into that spot too. So now if either one of those teams lose out over the weekend, Cleveland or Seattle wins out over the weekend, they could tie either one of those teams for that spot. There would be a play-in game at the beginning of next week. And the absolute fluke miraculous finish, which would probably be the biggest thing baseball could want, would be if all 4 teams ended up tied after the weekend, which that would require Oakland and Kansas City losing out, Cleveland and Seattle winning out. Then you would have that very rare 4-team tie, and there would be 2 play-in games, and then a wild card play-in game, and then the playoff round. So, if you're in for bonus baseball, you may get more of your money's worth. And I'm with you, Bruce. Bruce says, I said it was over 20 times this year, and I keep getting drugged back in. I mean, I'm telling you, that's the way it is. So enjoy it, go with it, have some fun with it. It's over when it's over, and there's nothing you can do about it. Tonight, you can root for the other team, do a little scoreboard watching, and if those teams lose, then hey, you move on to Friday. And then the Indians have a double-pronged attack. They have to win their own games and then scoreboard watch the other ones. And we'll see, man. We'll see. Winning, I got to tell you, even if the other teams do their part and lose, winning out this weekend is not going to be as easy as, oh, we're just going to win those games and then hopefully everybody else loses their games. It's not. I'm not saying that the Tribe can't. They absolutely can beat Tampa, but Tampa always plays the Tribe tough. They've got good pitching over there. That's the team that we matched. It kind of fitting. If it did come down to it, the end of our season came down to them last year. Here it comes again this year. And, I'll tell you what, worse than that, I don't like trusting the other side of your hopes to Texas and the White Sox. I'm knowing the White Sox, they would take 3 from Kansas City and then just tank the last one on purpose just to hurt the Indians a little bit on the way out the door. I was joking. I know some of you aren't going to want to hear this. I was joking with Mike Brandenberry last night. I said, you know what the Tribe's going to do? I said, they're going to win out. And you know that one of these other teams is going to lose out. And then on Sunday, the Tribe will strand 13 runners. They'll lose a 1-0 heartbreaker in 12 innings, and they'll miss out on the playoffs by that fraction of an inch there at the end of the season. I said, because that's what they do. They take you all the way to the brink, then they pull it back a little bit. It's like a drug dealer, man. That's what the drug dealers do. They get, not that I would know this firsthand, but I know this from watching television. No, I'm just kidding. But they give you a taste, and then they give you a little more, and then they pull it back. And the next one's a little stronger, and they pull it back. And next thing you know, you're a junkie running for your fix. Like you guys, Monday through Friday at noon, coming to get your fix. Indians fans, running back to the table when they thought this is over. All right, time to go pay attention. Got Cavaliers Saturday. Wait, Tribe want to, could you guys just lose and get it over with? No, you're going to keep playing with us. You're going to play with our emotions. Smokey, So there it is. Indians keeping it alive for one more day. We'll see if they're alive tomorrow, and then Saturday, and then Sunday, and then Monday. And if they are, like I said, listen, this is my last statement about the playoffs. If the Indians are still alive on Monday, when we come back here on Monday, one of you guys are foolish if you have not already printed up a gross